Good morning, and how are you, my students? I hope that you are all fine. I am teacher Ella, and together we will start a new math period on today, Tuesday, April 7, 2020. Get ready, bring out your textbooks, your workbooks, and your pencils, and start watching this video with me. Our last period was about understanding tenths and how we can write them in decimals. Our period for today will be about understanding hundredths. Our objectives for today is to write hundredths as decimals and to understand the equivalence between the decimal fraction and the fractions form of quarters and hundredths. Look at this picture and look for the smallest object. This square is divided into 100 equal parts, and this blue part is 1 out of 100. So, what is the fraction of this part? The fraction of this part is 1 out of 100, which is 100ths. We can read this fraction as 100th. How can we write this fraction using decimals? Before you learn how to write the fraction 100ths using decimals, let's see together how we can use the number line to show the fraction 100ths. Remember, in the previous period, we said that we can show the fraction 1/10 on the number line by dividing the distance between the number 0 and the number 1 into 10 equal parts. And the fraction 1/10 has to be the first part on this distance. And we said that 1/10 can be written using decimals as 0.1. Now, to show the fraction 100ths on the number line, we have to divide the distance between number 0 and number 1 on the number line into 100 equal parts. We divide it into 100 equal parts because we have the number 100. These small lines shows one part out of 100. If you count the lines between number 0 and 0.1, you can find that there are 10 equal parts. These 10 equal parts are 10 hundredths. So we can say that 10 hundredths is same as 0.1 or 1/10. So the fraction 100th is the first part on the number line. I think you remember this place value chart from the previous video. We said that we can use the place value table to describe decimals. We can also use this place value table to describe hundredths decimals. Take a look at the values on the right of the decimal point, tenths and hundredths. We said that we can write 1/10 as 0.1. How can we write 100ths? So 1/10 equal 10 hundredths, as we saw on the number line. And we learned that we can write the fraction 1/10 as 0.1 using decimals. And since the fraction 10 hundredths equal the fraction 1/10, so the fraction 10 hundredths can be written in decimals as 0.1. So 10 hundredths equal 0.1 or 0.10. We added this 0 because we said that on the place value chart this 0 for the unit or the ones place. And this is the decimal point, this is the tenths value, and this is the hundredths value. The fraction 1/100th can be written using decimals as 0.01. Some of you may ask me, why we have to write 0 in this place? The answer is, this 0 shows the ones or the unit place. This dot shows the decimal point. This 0 for the tenths place. If you look back again at the fraction, you can find that we have only number 1 and there is no tenths here. So we have to write 0. And number 1 shows the hundredths place because it's 1/100th. So the fraction 1/100th can be written using decimals as 0.01. Now look at this diagram and tell what decimal does it show. To find the decimal, we have to find the fraction of the colored parts first. The fraction of the colored parts is 3 out of 100, or 3/100ths. Remember that 1/100th is written in decimals as 0.01. So, how can we write 3/100ths using decimals? We can write 3/100ths using decimals as 0.03. Now look carefully at each one of the following shapes and write the decimal and the fraction of each shaded parts. The fraction in letter A is 26/100ths because there are 26 colored parts out of 100 parts, so it's 26/100ths. But how can we write 26/100ths using decimals? To write 26/100ths using decimals, you must remember the fact that each 10/100ths equal 1/10 and can be written as 0.1. So, to write 26/100ths using decimals, we can say that 26 is 20 and 6. Since 10/100ths equal 1/10, we can say that 20/100ths equal 2/10, and we can write it in decimals as 0.2. We can also write it as 0.20 to show the hundredths place. Now we still have 6/100ths. We can write 6/100ths in the hundred place, and the decimal will be 0.26 or 0.26. In letter B, there are 10 equal parts, 4 out of 10 are colored. So the fraction is 4/10 and the decimal is 0.4. What is the answer of letter C? If you count the green squares, you can find out that there are 45 green colored squares. So 45 out of 100 equal 45/100ths. We can write this as 0.45. Here are the details of how can we write 45/100ths using decimals. 45 equal 40 and 5. 40/100ths is same as 4/10, and 4/10 can be written as 0.4. Now, we take the 5/100ths and write it down in the hundredths place, and we get 0.45. Using the same way, we can find the answer of letters E, F, and H. In letter E, there are 59 colored squares. So, 59 out of 100 is 59/100ths, and 59/100ths can be written using decimals as 0.59. In letter F, there are 31 colored parts. 31 out of 100 equal 31 hundredths, and 31 hundredths can be written in decimals as 0.31. In the last one, there are 20 colored parts. 20 out of 100 is 20 hundredths, and 20 hundredths same as 2/10 and can be written as 0.2, or we can add the 0 to show the hundredths place and write it as 0.20. According to what you learned in the previous examples, what fraction of the diagram is shaded? If you count the red parts, you can find out there are 25 colored parts. 25 out of 100 can be written as 25 hundredths. Also, we can write it using fractions as 25 hundredths. We can write the fraction 25 hundredths in a simple way by changing the numerator to become 1. How can I change 25 into 1? If I want to change the number 25 to become 1 in the numerator, then I have to divide it by 25, because any number divided by itself equal 1. So 25 divided by 25 equal 1. And because I divided the numerator by 25, I also have to divide the denominator. So 100 divided by 25, which means that you have to share 100 equally in 25 groups. Then, how many will be in each group? The answer is 4. So, 25 hundredths can be written in a simple way as 1/4. And remember that 1/4 is 1/4. So 25 hundredths is 25 hundredths, or 0.25, or 1/4. Now open your workbook, page 62, and find out the answers of the following questions. In this question, we are going to write the decimal number for each of the following. To write the number in decimals, we must start with the units place. What is the value of the units place? Since there is nothing in the unit place, then the value of the unit place equals 0. So the first number is 0. After that, we have to write down the decimal point. Now take a look at the tenths place and tell what is the value of the tenths. The tenths place equals 6, so we write down 6. And the last one shows the hundredths place, and there are 3 parts in the hundredths place, so the number has to be 3. The whole number is 0.63 or 0.63. In letter B, there are 4 units in the unit place, nothing in the tenths place, and 6 in the hundredths place. So to write down the number in decimals, first we start by writing the units, then the decimal point. Nothing in the tenths place means that we have to write 0. And 6 in the hundredths place means that we will write 6 in the hundredths place. Our whole number is 4.06. In this question, we have 5 in the units place, 2 in the tenths place, and 5 in the hundredths place. How can we write down this number using decimals? We start by writing the units, which equal 5, then the decimal point, then the tenths, then the hundredths place. So the whole number is 5.25. In letter F, there are 6 in the unit place. So we start by writing 6. Then we write down the decimal point. After that, we have to take a look at the 10th place and the 100ths place. In the 100ths place, there are 12 parts. Remember that each 10 hundredths equal 1 tenth. So we can take away 10 hundredths and make them 1 tenth and put it in the 10th place. So now we have 3 in the 10th place. And we still have only 2 in the 100th place. So the answer is 6.32. Letter D is same as the previous letters. 8 in the unit place, nothing in the 10th place, and 8 in the 100th place. So we write it as 8.08. And now we ended our math period for today. Your homework is to do page 61 in the workbook. I am waiting for you to share your answers with me on the group. I hope to see you soon. See you next time and goodbye.